What happens to a man when his body cannot respond the way it used to, but nobody ever told him why? 68. One of my patients thought he was simply getting old. But the real problem was not age, it was 7 silent mistakes he had been making for decades without knowing the damage they caused. I am Dr. Eva Hart, a certified urologist with 14 years of experience working exclusively with men over 60. In my practice, I have seen how certain private habits can quietly destroy masculine vitality, yet most men suffer in silence because no one talks about these intimate truths. This is not about shame or judgment, this is about understanding how your body changes and adapting your approach to maintain strength, confidence, and wellness. What I will share today goes beyond physical technique. This is about reclaiming your masculine energy, your sense of self-worth, and your right to feel alive and vital at any age. Stay with me until the end because the 7th mistake I reveal could be the key to transforming not just your physical health, but your entire relationship with your own body. And if this topic speaks to you, share in the comments what resonates most. If it does not, tell me what subjects would serve you better. Your feedback shapes everything I create. But first, let me tell you about something that happens in complete silence, something most men never connect to their declining energy and confidence, and it starts with what you watch. There is something quietly rewiring the brains of older men, and most have no idea it is happening. After decades of normal sexual response, suddenly touch feels different. Sensations seem muted. The spark that once came naturally now requires more and more stimulation to achieve the same result. This is not natural aging, this is neurological adaptation to artificial intensity. When you consistently expose your brain to the rapid-fire, hyper-stimulating content found in adult videos, you create what scientists call tolerance. Your dopamine receptors, already less sensitive due to natural aging, become even more dulled. The brain begins to crave higher levels of stimulation just to feel normal arousal. Real human touch, gentle and gradual, cannot compete with the artificial intensity your nervous system has learned to expect. I have worked with countless men who could no longer respond to their partner because their brain had been trained to need unrealistic visual stimulation. They thought they had lost desire, but they had actually lost the ability to appreciate subtle, natural pleasure. Tragedy is that this rewiring can take months or even years to reverse, if addressed at all. Many men blame their partners, their age, or their failing health, never realizing that their brain has been systematically trained to reject the very intimacy they crave. The solution requires discipline but offers profound rewards. Reducing dependence on visual stimulation allows your brain to recalibrate to more natural rhythms. Within weeks, many men report increased sensitivity to touch, deeper emotional connection during intimacy, and a return of that natural masculine response they thought was gone forever. Your brain can learn to appreciate subtlety again, but only when you stop overwhelming it with artificial intensity. Yet even without screens, there is another mistake that physically damages your body in ways you cannot see or feel until it is too late, and it involves something as simple as where you choose to sit. Most men choose their location for privacy, not for health. The bathroom offers solitude and convenience, but what seems harmless is actually creating serious problems for your circulation and prostate health. When you sit in a hunched position for extended periods, especially during arousal and climax, you compress vital blood vessels and put dangerous pressure on your prostate gland. This position restricts blood flow precisely when your body needs it most. During arousal, healthy circulation is essential for proper function and recovery. But sitting compresses the arteries that feed your pelvic region, creating a cycle of reduced blood flow that compounds over time. Your prostate, already enlarged from natural aging, becomes further compressed and inflamed. Many men develop what they think are age-related urinary problems, difficulty starting urination, incomplete emptying, nighttime urgency. They blame their prostate, their age, or their genetics. But often, the real culprit is years of masturbating in positions that compromise circulation and create chronic inflammation. The damage accumulates so gradually that by the time symptoms appear, the pattern has been established for years. The inflammation spreads beyond just the prostate. Nerve endings become less sensitive. Recovery time increases. Even your ability to maintain arousal for extended periods diminishes because the blood vessels have been trained to constrict rather than dilate during sexual response. What should be a healing, restorative experience becomes a source of physical stress and deterioration. Standing or reclining allows proper blood flow and takes pressure off your prostate. This simple change in position can prevent years of complications and help restore natural function. Your body will thank you with better circulation, easier urination, and more satisfying intimate experiences. The improvement often begins within days of making this simple adjustment. But even in the right position, there is a timing mistake that robs you of the deep satisfaction and health benefits your body craves, turning what should be restorative into something depleting. Modern life has taught us to hurry through everything, including pleasure. Many older men approach self-pleasure like a task to complete rather than an experience to savor. This urgency creates a cascade of problems that affect both your immediate satisfaction and your long-term sexual health. When you rush toward climax, your nervous system stays in a state of tension rather than relaxation. Your heart rate spikes quickly instead of building gradually. Blood vessels constrict under pressure rather than dilating naturally. Most importantly, your body does not have time to produce the full spectrum of beneficial hormones that make sexual release truly healing and restorative. Quick, pressured sessions leave you feeling drained rather than energized, empty rather than satisfied. Your brain learns to associate sexual pleasure with anxiety and urgency rather than peace and fulfillment. Over time, this pattern makes it difficult to maintain arousal with a partner because your body expects everything to happen rapidly. The intimate connection that should develop gradually becomes impossible when your nervous system is programmed for speed. The hormonal benefits of sexual release, reduced stress hormones, increased oxytocin, better sleep chemistry, require time to develop fully. When you rush, you get the physical release but miss the deeper restoration that your aging body desperately needs for vitality and emotional balance. Your endocrine system needs space to create the chemical cascade that leaves you feeling satisfied, peaceful, and connected. Learning to slow down and be present during self-pleasure is not just about immediate satisfaction. It trains your nervous system to associate sexuality with relaxation and healing rather than stress and performance pressure. This mental shift alone can transform your entire approach to intimacy and help you feel more confident and connected in all areas of life. The patience you develop here extends into every intimate relationship. However, slowing down means nothing if you ignore the hidden muscle system that controls everything from urination to orgasm intensity, a system most men never even know exists. There is a group of muscles in your body that most men have never consciously engaged. Yet these muscles control urination, support your organs, and determine the strength of your sexual response. Pelvic floor muscles work like a hammock supporting your bladder, prostate, and sexual organs. When these muscles are weak or neglected, everything above them begins to malfunction. Most men learn to bear down or push during climax, thinking this increases intensity. But pushing actually weakens the pelvic floor over time and creates downward pressure on your prostate. This leads to the very problems you are trying to avoid: weak erections, premature climax, post-urination dribbling, and reduced sensation during intimate moments. The harder you push, the weaker these essential muscles become. A weak pelvic floor cannot provide the muscular contractions that create powerful, satisfying orgasms. Instead of the rhythmic pulsing that should accompany climax, you get weak, unsatisfying releases that leave you feeling incomplete. Many men think this is just part of aging, but it is actually the result of years of improper muscle engagement. Your body is capable of much more when these muscles are functioning properly. The good news is that pelvic floor muscles respond quickly to proper training. Simply learning to gently contract these muscles during arousal, the same muscles you use to stop urination midstream, can restore strength and sensation within weeks. Strong pelvic floor muscles not only improve sexual function but also reduce urinary problems and provide better support for your aging prostate. Engaging your pelvic floor during self-pleasure is like strength training for your masculinity. Each conscious contraction rebuilds the foundation of your sexual health and gives you back control over your body that you thought was lost to age. Confidence that comes from feeling your body respond powerfully affects every area of your life. Yet even with strong muscles and proper technique, getting the frequency wrong can undo all your progress and leave you feeling depleted when you should feel energized. One of the most confusing aspects of male sexuality after 60 is determining the right frequency for self-pleasure. Some men worry they are doing it too often and draining their energy. Others fear they have gone too long and are losing their sexual capacity. Both extremes can create problems, but finding balance restores vitality and maintains healthy function. Excessive frequency, driven by habit rather than genuine desire, can leave your body unable to keep up with demand. Your energy levels drop, your prostate becomes irritated from constant stimulation, and your interest in partner intimacy diminishes. What should be energizing becomes depleting, leaving you feeling tired and disconnected from your sexuality rather than empowered by it. Pleasure becomes mechanical rather than meaningful. On the other extreme, some men avoid self-pleasure entirely due to health concerns, medication effects, or simply believing they are too old. But sexual arousal, even without climax, maintains blood flow to your sexual organs, keeps nerve endings active, and preserves your body's ability to respond. Without regular circulation, the tissues begin to atrophy and your capacity for pleasure gradually diminishes. Use it or lose it applies to sexual function just as much as any other bodily system. For most men over 60, once or twice weekly provides the sweet spot. This frequency maintains circulation and hormonal balance without overtaxing your system. But more important than any specific number is learning to listen to your body. True desire feels different from habitual urging. Genuine arousal comes with energy and curiosity, while compulsive behavior feels urgent and empty. The goal is not to follow rules but to maintain connection with your sexuality in a way that energizes rather than depletes you. When frequency is right, you feel more confident, more energetic, and more interested in intimacy with others rather than less. Your sexuality becomes a source of strength rather than a drain on your vitality. But even perfect frequency cannot overcome the damage caused by excessive force and pressure, a mistake that can permanently alter your anatomy. As sensitivity naturally decreases with age, many men instinctively respond by increasing pressure and force. This seems logical. If you cannot feel as much, grip tighter and press harder. But this approach creates a destructive cycle that permanently damages the very tissues you are trying to stimulate. The skin and nerves of your penis are designed for gentle, varied stimulation. Excessive gripping causes micro tears in tissue, reduces elasticity, and can lead to scarring beneath the surface. Over time, this creates curvature, reduces blood flow, and causes pain during arousal. What began as an attempt to restore sensation actually destroys your capacity for pleasure. Aggressive handling also desensitizes nerve endings through overstimulation. Your body requires increasingly more force to achieve the same response, creating an escalating cycle that leads to tissue damage and reduced function. Men who grip too tightly often find that gentle touch from a partner becomes ineffective because their nerves have been trained to respond only to extreme pressure. The very sensitivity they are trying to restore is systematically destroyed by their approach. The psychological impact is equally damaging. When pleasure becomes a battle requiring force and effort, you lose the natural ease and joy that should accompany sexuality. Instead of relaxation and satisfaction, you associate intimate moments with struggle and frustration. Your relationship with your own body becomes adversarial rather than nurturing. Relearning gentle touch requires patience but offers extraordinary rewards. Your tissues can heal and nerve sensitivity can return when you stop assaulting them with excessive force. Many men are amazed to discover that lighter touch actually produces more intense sensations once their body learns to respond to subtlety rather than aggression. Key is consistency and gentleness rather than intensity. Yet even perfect technique cannot overcome the most devastating mistake of all, the one that affects your heart as much as your body and robs you of the deeper fulfillment you seek. The most heartbreaking pattern I see in my practice is when men reduce self-pleasure to an empty, mechanical routine. What should be a moment of self-connection and restoration becomes a hollow ritual performed without emotion, intention, or presence. This disconnection creates wounds that go far deeper than physical dysfunction. When sexual activity becomes divorced from feeling, your nervous system receives mixed signals. Your body goes through the motions of pleasure while your mind and heart remain absent. This teaches your brain that sexuality is meaningless, that physical release is disconnected from emotional fulfillment. Over time, this pattern makes it nearly impossible to feel genuine intimacy with a partner because you have trained yourself to dissociate during sexual moments. The hormonal benefits of sexual release depend partly on emotional engagement. When your heart is not present, your body produces less oxytocin, less dopamine, and fewer of the chemicals that create feelings of satisfaction and connection. You may achieve physical climax, but you miss the deeper restoration that makes sexuality truly healing for body and spirit. The emptiness that follows becomes a source of depression rather than satisfaction. Many men tell me they go through the motions but feel nothing afterward except emptiness or mild depression. They wonder why something that once brought joy now feels hollow and mechanical. The answer is not in their bodies but in their approach. They have accidentally trained themselves to experience pleasure without presence. The disconnection becomes so complete that they lose touch with their own desires and feelings. Restoring emotional connection to self-pleasure requires conscious intention. This means approaching your body with curiosity rather than routine, with gratitude rather than detachment, with presence rather than distraction. Even solo sexuality can be an act of self-care and self-love when approached with the right mindset. Your body responds not just to physical touch but to emotional attention and appreciation. Your path forward. If you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, know that change is possible at any age. Your body is still capable of pleasure, connection, and vitality when you treat it with the respect and understanding it deserves. The mistakes I have described are not character flaws, they are simply habits formed during a time when no one taught us how our sexuality would change with age. Every challenge I have mentioned can be addressed with patience and proper approach. Reduce dependency on artificial stimulation and your brain will recalibrate to appreciate natural pleasure. Change positions to support circulation and your prostate will thank you. Slow down your approach and your nervous system will learn to associate sexuality with peace rather than pressure. Strengthen your pelvic floor and your physical function will improve dramatically. Find the right frequency for your body and you will maintain vitality without depletion. Use gentle touch instead of force and your sensitivity will return. Most importantly, bring emotional presence to intimate moments and you will rediscover the joy and satisfaction you thought were lost forever. Each change builds upon the others, creating a foundation for lasting improvement. Your masculinity is not defined by performance metrics or comparison to your younger self. It is expressed through wisdom, self-awareness, and the courage to adapt your approach as your body changes. The men who age with the most vitality and confidence are not those who fight against change, but those who learn to work with their bodies rather than against them. True strength comes from understanding your body's evolving needs and responding with compassion rather than frustration. Remember that healing takes time, especially after years of harmful patterns. Be patient with yourself as you implement these changes. Some improvements will appear within days, others may take weeks or months to fully manifest. The important thing is consistency and self-compassion throughout the process. Your body wants to heal and respond, you just need to give it the right conditions. At any age, you have the power to reclaim your sexual health, your confidence, and your connection to your own body. The habits that have been causing problems can be replaced with approaches that restore and energize. Your best intimate years do not have to be behind you, they can be ahead of you when you approach your body with wisdom, patience, and care. If this information has helped you understand your body better, please share it with other men who need to hear these truths. Subscribe for more content designed specifically for men navigating the changes that come with maturity. Your feedback in the comments helps me create exactly what you need to maintain strength, confidence, and vitality throughout your life.